Good afternoon, everybody. The Justice Department has released the transcript and audio of their two-day interview with Jeffrey Epstein associate Ghislaine Maxwell, who is currently serving 20 years in prison. You can see she is serving 20 years in prison for conspiring with Jeffrey Epstein to sexually abuse minors. That's a press release from 2022 from the U.S. Attorney's Office. So they did an interview with the Deputy Attorney General did 2 days of interviews with her. And now those interviews have been released. I have the link pinned in the top of the chat, so you can go check it all out yourself. You can see we have two days of transcripts and then audio. Maybe we can listen to a little of the audio. I'm not going to play hours and hours of that, but we want to bring you the latest updates about this. Monica Barnes thinks nothing that comes out in that case is credible. Well, I leave it to you whether you believe what Ghislaine Maxwell says. I will remind you she is serving 20 years in prison for conspiring with Jeffrey Epstein to sexually abuse minors. We want to give you the latest updates here. I have not read through everything. One report I saw said that she didn't incriminate any high-profile people. She did not incriminate Donald Trump, from what I understand. There's part of this where she says, page 108. I'll show you the stuff about President Trump, well, Donald Trump. This would have been before he was president. But I'm not aware that she has incriminated any high-profile people. Linda thinks it won't reveal anything of value. But we're going to talk about it a bit. We'll show you some of it, and you can read it on your own and listen to all. You can listen to all of it. You can listen to all 2 days of it. And we're going to take your comments on the air. Okay, so Sincere says she was moved to minimum security. Yeah, I believe it was it after the interview that she was moved to a minimum security prison camp, like the least level of security in federal prisons, I believe. I have to check that out. Hey, thanks to our moderators who are here. Janet B., Beth Mythical, Roberts May Queen, and Linda Belglary, Misha over on X, Charlotte Webb over there on Facebook, thank you. Kirby Cosins says she didn't implicate Trump, what a surprise. Again, I'm not aware that she implicated anyone at this point. I have to check, though, and see. 13 Alamo, Big Ball of Yarn, Matthew Kohai 3, all moderating over there on Twitch. So, just to show you this first, I haven't read through all this, but if you want, there is this section where Trump came up, which is, where is it here? Do you know whether, for example, President Clinton ever received a massage? So, numerous Jeffrey Epstein accusers accused him of, as underage girls, accused him of paying them to give him massages, which became sexual in nature in many cases. So when you're seeing about the massage, you get some context there. Do you know, for example, whether President Clinton ever received a massage? Ghislaine Maxwell, no, I don't believe he did. And what makes you say that? Well, because I don't. That's a good question. The time that Epstein and President Clinton spent together, the only times I believe, well, obviously they traveled. There was that, the plane, they were on the plane 26 times or whatever. That would be one journey. They spent time on the plane together. I don't believe there was ever a massage on the plane. So that would have been the only time I think that President Clinton could have even received a massage, and he didn't because I was there. And you mentioned that early in the very beginning of the conversation, you mentioned President Trump in the early 90s. Ghislaine, yes. Todd Blanche. Well, what did you observe as far as President Trump and his relationship with you or Epstein? Ghislaine. Well, I just want to say for my relationship with President Trump, relationship's a big word, but I just want to say that I met him, or I believe I may have, because of my father in the 90s. Yep, okay. So my father liked him very much, and he was loved, really liked his wife as well, because we were both Czechoslovakian. And as far as I'm concerned, President Trump was always very cordial and very kind to me. And I just want to say that I admire his extraordinary achievement in becoming the president now, she said. And I like him, and I've always liked him. So that is the sum and substance of my entire relationship with him. What about Mr. Epstein's relationship with him? I don't know how they met, she says, and I don't know how they became friends. I certainly saw them together, and I remember the few times I observed them together, but they were friendly. I mean, they seemed friendly. Was that in social settings, or was that in private settings? I believe I only ever saw them in social settings. I don't recall any private settings. Have you ever been to Mar-a-Lago and Palm Beach? Ghislaine, I have. In what time period were you thinking about when you say yes? I don't remember when the president purchased Mar-a-Lago, so from whenever it turned into the club, I went there and I loved going there. Did you go there alone or with Mr. Epstein? Mostly alone. Do you know where? And the times I went there was for an event, maybe once or twice. And do you know whether Mr. Epstein ever went there? I believe he did, but again, we really were, he didn't take me with him all the time, so he would go, and he did from time to time, but he would go alone. I think he would maybe go to himself to the spa. I certainly did. Did you ever observe President Trump receive a massage? Never, says Ghislaine. Did you ever observe, you said that you were, have you seen there's photographs, public photographs of Mr. Epstein and President Trump together? Yes. And there's photographs that you saw in person, President Trump. Ghislaine, it's been a long time, probably not, sometime in the beginning, mid-2000s maybe, and it would only have been a social setting as far as I recall. Todd Blanche, and did you ever hear Mr. Epstein or anybody say that President Trump had done anything inappropriate with masseuses or with anybody in your world? Ghislaine Maxwell, absolutely never, in any context. Do you know whether masseuses from Mar-a-Lago Spa ended up giving private massages to Mr. Epstein? I'm not asking about what you have read, but from your personal knowledge, do you know whether that's true? I don't recall. Is it possible? Yes, but I don't remember that. So I don't recall that, but it's possible. Do you have a recollection of you ever recruiting a masseuse from Mar-a-Lago Spa to give a private massage to Mr. Epstein? Wait, what am I doing here? I think I skipped a page, by the way. No, I didn't. I didn't. She says, I've never recruited a masseuse from Mar-a-Lago. That's what she claims. She claims she's never recruited a masseuse from Mar-a-Lago. Okay. Anyways, that's a little section where she says she never observed Trump, she said, do anything inappropriate with masseuses or with anyone in her world. Oh, I didn't reach page 107. I'm sorry. I thought I read it. She said, I don't know Epstein's if we had whatever the nature of the president's friendship, if you will, or however you wanted to find that with Epstein. I was never a witness. I think they were friendly like people are in social settings. I don't think they were close friends, or I certainly never witnessed the president in any of. I don't recall ever seeing him in his house, for instance. I actually never saw the president in any type of massage setting. I never witnessed the president in any appropriate setting. She says, I never witnessed the president in any inappropriate setting in any way. The president was never inappropriate with anybody, she says. In the times I was with him, he was a gentleman in all respects. That's what she says. By the way, I have posted the link. I have pinned the link to this at the top of the chat on Twitch, Facebook, and YouTube. There's 2 whole days of interviews, transcripts and audio. So you can go and you can read through the whole thing. Pep Rex says she is looking for a pardon. Russ Martin thinks she's going to walk soon. So, I mean, I'm sure she would like a pardon. She's in jail for 20 years. I have no idea if that would ever be given to her. She was convicted for helping, again, sentenced to 20 years in prison for conspiring with Jeffrey Epstein to sexually abuse minors. Numerous women who allege they were victims of Jeffrey Epstein, and many of whom have given very similar accounts of what happened to them, say that she was intimately involved in his operation, as I know many of you know. Let me take a few comments here. We're going to talk about this more. Again, I'm not going to play. It would take hours and hours to play the audio of all and probably read through all the interviews, all the interview transcripts. But where is it here? Who knows? There's been speculation that maybe maybe she could get a pardon. I haven't heard Trump say he's going to pardon her. By the way, a quick thanks to. Let me just say a couple quick thank yous here. Let me take some comments from you guys. Thank you to Mitchell Pilot. Thank you, Mitchell Pilot, and PZ Papa Zulu, and Jerry Altum, and Nathan Delmo. I appreciate that. Also, hang on a moment here. Big Dog Gaming. Austin Batman thinks it looks like a softball interview. I haven't really even had time to read through it yet. So we'll look at different parts of this. Oh, one of our viewers mentioned this. The BB88. She was asked, she said, I did not believe he died by suicide, Jeffrey Epstein. And do you have any speculation or view of who killed him? She says, no, I don't. Todd Blanche says, if you don't believe there's any truth to the allegations of blackmail or that he had kind of a list or that he had reasons to have people hate him, why would somebody kill him in prison? She says, in prison where I am, they will kill you or someone will pay a prisoner to kill you for $25 worth of commissary. That's about the going rate for a hit with a lock today. I'll have to look. I'm sure there's other things coming out about what's in here. And I haven't had time to go through it all. This interview was done July 24th and 25th of, we should hear what a little of it sounds like. July 24th and 25th of this year. I'm going to play for a second just what some of the interview audio. There's a whole, you can find all the audio files just to hear what it sounds like. Let's see if we can pull it up here. Hang on. Hang on. Why can't I do this? Can you guys hear this? I can't hear it. Oh, you'll hear it in a second.
always a masseuse, whereas in the past it wasn't always a masseuse or always an instructor. There was now starting to be always an individual or a friend or whatever. There's always a, like, maybe the word would be entourage. But these were always people in their 20s, late 20s, early 30s, as my memory sees it,
I just picked a random part of the interview. I just wanted to let you know what it sounds like. You can listen to the whole thing. There's all the audio recordings. There's 7 parts from day 1 and how many parts? 4 parts from day 2. She was born in France. She has UK, France, and US citizenship. She went to college in the UK. She is a former British socialite. The watch lister says, all I hear is I don't know or I don't remember. Thank you so much, the watch lister. Let me give you a little summary of what's going on here. Then we'll take some more comments from you guys. You can see here, Reuters says, Epstein associate Maxwell says she never saw Trump behave inappropriately. Ghislaine Maxwell, says Reuters, an associate of the late financier and sex offender Jeffrey Epstein, told a top Justice Department official in July that she never saw President Trump in an inappropriate setting, according to a transcript of an interview released on Friday. She said, I never witnessed the president in any inappropriate setting in any way, according to the transcript of her 2-day interview, which happened last month. She said the president was never appropriate with anybody. Maxwell also told Todd Blanche that she was not aware of any client list of Epstein's. Epstein's friendships with wealthy and powerful individuals have fueled conspiracy theories that others were involved with his crimes, but no one other than he and Maxwell have been charged with crimes. I don't know that I don't know that I'd call it a conspiracy theory that others were involved, because there are, I believe, if I have this right, I believe there are multiple women who say they are victims who have claimed that others were involved. For example, am I right about Virginia Giuffre? Didn't she say that she was like made to do sexual activities with famous people? I mean, just as an example. Virginia Giuffre. One of the most prominent and vocal accusers of child sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. Yes, she said that she had been sex trafficked by Epstein to Britain's Prince Andrew. Now, you might not believe that, but, I mean, given that you have an accuser of Jeffrey Epstein saying that, that to me means it's not just a conspiracy theory to say that others were involved. Now, I think, maybe what Reuters wanted to say here is that it was a conspiracy theory that he was blackmailing others or something like that. Or like he was, maybe the theory that Epstein was getting all this money from famous people and getting them to do things because he had this over them and he told them he was going to release the information about them. I don't know about that. So my point is, though, so my guess is that that's what they were going for. As I understand conspiracy theory, I don't know that it's, personally, I don't feel it's correct to call it a conspiracy theory to say that anyone else was involved. Because as I just showed you, one of the prominent accusers says, well, other people were involved. He trafficked me to other people. Anyways, so That's my guess. I'm guessing they meant something like that. The Justice Department's publication of the interview comes as Trump has faced criticism from his conservative base of supporters and congressional Democrats over the Justice Department's decision to not release the files from its Epstein investigation. Remember, I want to say a couple months ago, the DOJ and the FBI said, we're not going to release any more of the investigative files we have about the Jeffrey Epstein investigation. Then after that, they conducted this interview, and now they've released the transcript of the interview. Maxwell is serving a 20-year sentence after her 2021 sex trafficking conviction. Prosecutors said she recruited underage girls for Epstein to abuse during encounters that began as massages and then escalated into unwanted sexual activity. She has asked the U.S. Supreme Court to overturn her conviction. Trump knew Epstein socially in the 1990s and early 2000s. During the 2021 trial of Epstein associate Ghislaine Maxwell, the financier's longtime pilot testified that Trump flew on Epstein's private plane multiple times. I mean, many prominent people did. Bill Clinton, I believe, there's records of that. Trump has denied flying on the plane, by the way. You can see there. Maxwell told Blanche she never saw Trump receive a massage. Lena Lopez says, I believe there's at least 2 victims who claim to be trafficked from Mar-a-Lago. I don't know about that. So I don't know the specifics about what all the victims have claimed. I'm sure some of you know way more about that than me. I mean, just, the Bill Clinton thing. Bill Clinton had a social and professional relationship with Jeffrey Epstein. This is the Wikipedia article. He traveled on Epstein's private jet on several occasions for charitable trips. I'm not accusing Bill Clinton of anything here illegal. I'm just pointing that out. Hold on a second here. And if you have comments or questions, you can write in the chat or you can message me on X at Lookner on X. But they have released the interview, the transcript, and the audio. I wonder if President Trump will post on Truth Social about this. He hasn't so far. By the way, this is what Todd Blanche, the Deputy Attorney General, said today. He said, in the interest of transparency, the Justice Department is releasing the complete transcript and audio of my proffer of Miss Maxwell. The transcript and audio are linked below. Walcroft says link the website with the transcripts. Well, about 2 lines above your post, Walcroft, it's pinned to the chat. I know people are sending me things. I got to look at a couple things here. I'm sure there's... Hold on a second here. Sure, various people are going through these things. Oh. I have an update for you about something. Some Epstein documents have been given to the House Oversight Committee. I'm seeing that reported right now. Let me give you something about that. Hold on 1 second here. So I just saw this. Julie Surikin with NBC News says the House Oversight Committee has received its first tranche of documents from the DOJ related to the Jeffrey Epstein case. The House Oversight Committee spokesperson said, we have received the Department of Justice's first production of Epstein records pursuant to the Chairman James Comer's subpoena. The production contains thousands of pages of documents. The House Oversight Committee spokesman said the Trump DOJ is providing records at a far quicker pace than anything the Biden DOJ ever provided. They say they're going to they're going to make these public records public after a thorough review to ensure any victim's identification and child sexual abuse material are redacted. The committee will also consult with the DOJ to ensure any documents released do not negatively impact ongoing criminal cases and investigations. So I don't know what documents the government gave to the House Oversight Committee today. I don't know if any of those were documents that had already been released publicly. I don't know what percentage of the total documents were given to the House Oversight Committee today. I don't know anything about any of that. But they say they're going to make them public after going through them. You can also let me know if you go through there and you find something noteworthy. You can let me know. I haven't had time to really go through the interviews. 2 days. It's a day and a half worth of interview. So again, you can go to the Department of Justice site. I have posted a link to it. It is pinned in the chat. I also posted it on my X account. And you can get the whole interview transcript and all of the audio recordings. Got me some. I don't know what you... Thank you, Got Me Some. I don't know what you're referring to. You seem to have posted a court case or something. Thank you, Got Me Some. I appreciate it. Fyrin says, surely we can trust everything Ghislaine says. Yeah, I leave it to you to decide whether you think she's reliable. Thomas Darwin thinks she said everything to get relocated to Texas. Demi, our viewer, says it's all sanitized. This was planned. They also here they have these come with they have indexes. You can see here it says interview of Ghislaine Maxwell with Todd, Blanche, and others from the DOJ. So actually, where is the? I know that some of these. Oh, there it is. Maybe some of the documents have. Oh, the index is at the end. You can go to the end and you can look up terms. Words, like you could look up Trump or Clinton and see where they're mentioned. Like who's someone else? Is there a listing for Prince Andrew? I wouldn't be surprised if there is. Prince. So you can go check all of these mentions. 132. So, for example, if you go to page 132, I think both of those documents have it. I'm not going to read through the whole thing. Oh, this transcript is a little different than the other one. Anyways. Here they're talking about Prince Andrew, I believe. True that Andrew had said that. Ghislaine Maxwell, I'm English and my close friends are all close friends with Sarah and Andrew. I assume this is Prince Andrew. I think my friendship, my being present or me is what made Andrew like Jeffrey, more like trust him, or I think that's the idea. So you don't dispute that you kind of had a role in getting them together. You're just saying you didn't say Prince here's Jeffrey. She says, I would never have introduced them. I couldn't imagine them being friends. Here's a redaction. I don't know if this is Virginia Giuffre. Putting aside the publicity around Prince Andrew's purported relationship with blank, what happened, as far as you know, with Prince Andrew and Mr. Epstein's relationship? Fine. I'm just giving you a sense of some of the stuff in here. Yeah, so she's talking about the allegation that we went to London. The allegation was that at my house in London in March, whatever that was, 2001, I believe, we went to London. She's saying the allegation was we went to London especially so that blank could have a relationship with Prince Andrew, and she was paid a vast amount of money for that purpose. Okay. She talks about this allegation. Anyways, that's all on. You can look up Prince Andrew in the index and read all about that. So I'm not going to get all into the details here, but at the bottom there's an index and you can look it up and see any term not any term, but I'm sure a lot of the terms you might be looking for. You can look up the name or look up the word and you can find where it's mentioned. Yeah, I'm pretty sure she denied that allegation. I don't know where, in here if she got into it much, but just to be clear. Ben J says she ain't going to talk about the big fish, Bill Gates, and all the other criminals. But it's interesting that this is getting released. I'm sure there's different theories about why this is getting released. Is this the administration saying like, hey, see, we're really being open about this Epstein stuff? Cushy Dankmon thinks she whitewashed it all to save herself in prison. Clark Townsend says Friday afternoon dump. Tony Hewitt says, let me guess she is saying everyone is innocent, no one did anything wrong, don't believe the victims. I have not seen any report of her accusing any prominent person of anything in these interviews. Now, maybe it's been missed, but everything I've seen so far suggests she did not do that. Hampter Krukey says, I wonder what deal she got. Chris Crimson says this is literally Trump's personal lawyer. Todd Blanche used to be one of Trump's lawyers. He's the Deputy Attorney General now. Crimson says they moved her to a low security prison. That whole thing, if I can just mention that. Zelgeth says, so there's nothing of serious consequence in these transcripts. I don't know. I mean, I rushed right on the air after the other stream, so I really haven't had much time to read them. Let me, though, hold on. I'd like to show you the thing about Epstein, about her being moved. Where was that? Here, right here. Prison camp. So she did this interview July 24th and 25th, okay? This is right here from AP, what you're seeing on the screen right now. Jeffrey, and this story came out at the start of August, so like a week after the interview. Jeffrey Epstein's former girlfriend, Ghislaine Maxwell, has been moved from a federal prison in Florida to a prison camp in Texas, as her criminal case generates renewed public attention. I don't know, did the Federal Bureau of Prisons ever explain the circumstances? I'm not sure. So she was moved to a prison camp. Minimum security federal prison camps house inmates the Bureau of Prisons consider to be the lowest security risk. Some don't even have fences. Maxwell was convicted in 2021 of luring teenage girls to be sexually abused by the disgraced financier Jeffrey Epstein and was sentenced to 20 years in prison. She had been held at a low security prison in Tallahassee, Florida, until her transfer to the prison camp, which is even lower security in Texas. The prison camps were originally designed with low security to make operations easier and to allow inmates tasked with performing work at the prison, like landscaping and maintenance, to avoid repeatedly checking in and out of a main prison facility. Prosecutors have said Epstein's sex crimes could not have been done without Maxwell, but her lawyers have maintained she was wrongly prosecuted and denied a fair trial, and have floated the idea of a pardon to President Trump. In an interview, this was late July or early August, President Trump was asked about clemency for Maxwell. He told Newsmax, "I'm allowed to do it, but nobody's asked me to do it. I know nothing about it. I don't know anything about the case, but I know I have the right to do it. I have the right to give pardons. I've given pardons to people before, but nobody's even asked me to do it." That is the Bryan, Texas prison camp. That's where she is now. Our viewer, Eileen Catanese, thinks the transcripts are ridiculous and that the wrong person was asking her questions. She says, "Talk to the victims, the truth will come out." Thank you so much to Got Me Some, by the way. I appreciate it. Got Me Some. Majestic AFX thinks it's insane such a person gets such a low security prison. She should be in solitary confinement forever. If you missed it, here is some of what Ghislaine Maxwell said in her interview about President Trump. Basically, she said she was a big fan of his and also that she never observed him do anything appropriate. So, for example, she said, I actually never saw the president in any type of massage setting. I never witnessed the president, she means President Trump, in any inappropriate setting in any way. The president was never inappropriate with anybody. In the times that I was with him, he was a gentleman in all respects. She said he was never inappropriate with masseuses or with anybody in her world. By the way, I'm not aware that she accused any prominent person in this interview of any kind of illegal activity. She also said, my father liked Trump very much, and he was loved, really liked his wife as well because we're both Czechoslovakian. As far as I'm concerned, President Trump was always very cordial and very kind to me, and I just want to say that I admire his extraordinary achievement in becoming the president now, and I like him, and I've always liked him. So that is the sum and substance of my entire relationship with him. Austin Batman says she never saw nothing. Himflip thinks it's the pardon pitch. AP says Epstein's former girlfriend told Justice Department she did not see Trump act in an inappropriate way. Jeffrey Epstein's imprisoned former girlfriend repeatedly denied to the Justice Department witnessing any sexually inappropriate interactions with Donald Trump, according to the interview released today. Now, AP thinks the records were released to distance the Republican president from Epstein. I don't know that that's the case, but that's what AP thinks. The Trump administration issued hundreds of pages of transcripts from interviews that Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche conducted with Maxwell last month, as the administration was scrambling to present itself as transparent amid a fierce backlash over an earlier refusal to disclose a trove of records from the sex trafficking case. The records show Maxwell repeatedly showering Trump with praise and denying under questioning from Blanche that she had observed Trump engaged in any form of sexual behavior. Now, AP thinks that the administration was presumably eager to make such denials public at a time when the president has faced questions about a long-ago friendship with Epstein, and as his administration has endured continued scrutiny over its handling of evidence from the case. So I'll say this, I mean, certainly the administration has gotten a lot of complaints and pressure, including from its supporters, for not releasing material in this case. There's many people who want more material release who don't think that Trump was involved. So just to be clear, the widespread complaint I think you hear most of all is that your administration hasn't released more of the records. It's not that you're trying to cover up your own personal behavior. Now, maybe some people think that, but those are two different complaints. And again, there's many people out there who want more records released, who don't think that President Trump was involved, but they want more of the records released. Maxwell was interviewed over the course of 2 days by Blanche at a Florida courthouse. Blanche prefaced the interview by saying Maxwell had been given limited immunity, allowing her to speak freely without fear of prosecution for anything she said. The only exceptions, he said, were if she lied or gave statements inconsistent with what she had previously said. After her interview, she was moved from the low-security federal prison in Florida, where she had been serving a 20-year sentence, to a minimum-security prison camp in Texas. Neither her lawyer nor the Federal Bureau of Prisons have explained the reason for the move. So there has still not been an explanation from any kind of official on why, after she gave this interview, she was transferred to a minimum security prison camp. That has not been explained, just to be clear, which is interesting. The saga has consumed the Trump administration over the last month following an abrupt 2-page announcement from the FBI and Justice Department that Epstein had killed himself, despite conspiracy theories to the contrary, that a client list that Attorney General Pam Bondi had intimated was on her desk did not actually exist, and that no additional documents from the high-profile investigation were suitable to be released. The announcement produced outrage from conspiracy theorists, online sleuths, and Trump supporters who had been hoping to see proof of a government cover-up. For all I know, there might be specific, particularly interesting passages in here, but I haven't looked through it yet. Not much, a little bit. Our viewer L. Ubert88 thinks this is the cover-up. Yeah, Eddie mentioned a bus accident. We actually spent a bunch of time covering the bus accident on the stream before this one. So for now, I'm going to focus on this. I've been posting it on my X account as well. So I'm aware of it, and we did cover it a bunch earlier. Oh, so I did see this. Arthur Delaney of the Huffington Post said that Trump has accused Bill Clinton of going to the island. Now, I guess Ghislaine Maxwell said that President Clinton never went to the island. I have to look up where she said that, though. I see a... Sorry, I have to pull it up here. I see the screenshot of it, though. But can I find the exact location? Must be looking at the wrong interview. Oh, here it is, right here. I got it. Page 265. Todd Blanche. And you're not, I think you said you're not aware of President Clinton ever going to the island. Ghislaine Maxwell says he never, absolutely never went. And I can be sure of that because there's no way he would have gone. I don't believe there's any way he would have gone to the island had I not been there. Now, am I right? So I watched the Netflix documentary. I think it's called Jeffrey Epstein, Filthy Rich. I feel like, and maybe I'm wrong, I thought they definitely interviewed a man in that documentary who they said worked for a while on the island. I thought I remembered that guy in the documentary saying he had seen Bill Clinton on the island. Does anyone remember this from the documentary? Yeah, a bunch of people are saying yes. I have a pretty good memory of that. I might be wrong, but I do remember seeing that. So now she says she's not aware of Bill Clinton ever going to the island. I don't know. Yeah, a bunch of people are saying in the chat they remember that from the documentary too. So look, I don't know. I'm sure, again, I am not an expert on this case. I know a bunch of you probably have a lot better grasp of the specific details of this case. And you can, as I mentioned, I posted the link to this. I pinned the link to these interviews and the audio in the chat. So you can go through. I'm sure there will be people and channels doing this where they go through and they go through all the specifics and pull out specific parts. So Miss Mount Kerr thinks she's protecting her life. Hey, thanks again to Got Me Some. CK thinks it's a cover-up. Quake Cloud says the real questions are about Israel. Did anyone ask her about that? Cyrene74 says amnesia is her best friend. Oh, by the way, Howard Lutnick announced, the Secretary of Commerce, that the United States of America now owns, where'd it go here? What happened here? The United States of America now owns 10% of Intel, one of our great American technology companies. This historic agreement, he says, strengthens U.S. leadership in semiconductors, which will both grow our economy and help secure America's technological edge. That's a different story. I don't want to go too far down that road because that's a whole different story. But AP says the Trump administration had been in talks to secure a 10% stake in Intel in exchange for converting government grants that were pledged to Intel under President Biden. AP says, why would Trump do this? In his second term, Trump has been leveraging his power to reprogram the operations of major computer chip companies. The administration is requiring NVIDIA and Advanced Micro Devices, two companies whose chips are helping to power the craze around artificial intelligence, to pay a 15% commission on their sales of chips to China in exchange for export licenses. Trump's interest in Intel is also being driven by his desire to boost chip production in the U.S., which has been a focal point of the trade war that he has been waging throughout the world. By lessening the country's dependence on chips manufactured overseas, the president believes the U.S. will be better positioned to maintain its technological lead on China in the race to create artificial intelligence. Anyways, I just wanted to mention that. Our viewer, Tom Witcher, says, what weight should be put on what was said in the transcript? Look, I mean, it's a good question. It's an interview with Ghislaine Maxwell. Ghislaine Maxwell was sentenced to 20 years in prison for conspiring with Jeffrey Epstein to sexually abuse minors. So, is that a person who you are going to trust what she says in the interview? I leave that to you. Eileen Catney says she never said she was guilty of anything. Give me a break. Did she not testify at her trial? No, she did not testify at her own trial. I'm reading it right now. She did not testify at her own trial. Somebody is mentioning the whole perjury thing. So the thing about perjury is, I'm looking at an older ABC News article. She was charged with perjury for alleged lies during her 2016 deposition. The government repeatedly attacked her credibility during the criminal case. The perjury counts were dropped after her conviction on more serious charges. I don't know that she's ever admitted wrongdoing. Clark Townsend says she hasn't. But anyway, so, you know, whether you, I leave it to you whether you trust the answer she's giving in the interview. Oh, Douthis says since she's appealing her case, there's no way she's going to admit to A, doing things wrong, and B, seeing anything illegal. That's what Douthis thinks. She is currently appealing her case. By the way, thanks to Noodle Soup for subscribing. Big Dog Gaming, thanks for your support. Shout out to our moderators. 13 Alamo, Big Ball of Yarn, Matthew Kohai 3 over there on Twitch. And also on YouTube, Beth Mythical. And on Facebook, Margaret Riley over there moderating, thank you. And thanks Sharon, Class, and Gosselin for subscribing over there too. And Linda Belk, Larry, and Misha on X. To repeat, I have posted for you at the top of the chat and on my X account the link to this page where you can find, there are 2 days of interviews. You can find the documents. On the top it says transcripts. You can read through them. And there's audio recordings of the interviews. They're all there. It's on that page. It's easy to find them. It's pinned at the top of the chat. So you can go through and read them all. I am not going to do that on the stream. I'm basically, I have not had time to read through them. So I'm relying on the assumption that if there had been anything like really crazy or huge and new, we would be hearing it by now. I have not been made aware of it. By the Sea thinks that the administration still needs to release the files in their entirety. Cogito says you wanted the transcripts, now you have them. Look, there was the spec. You know, we didn't know if they were going to ever be, if they were going to even be transcripts. Never mind releasing them. So they did release them. Oh, President Trump just announced a tariff investigation into furniture. He says, I am pleased to announce that we are doing a major tariff investigation on furniture coming into the U.S. Within the next 50 days, the investigation will be completed, and furniture coming from other countries will be tariffed at a rate yet to be determined. Is that like, is IKEA furniture count as that? This will bring furniture business back to North Carolina, South Carolina, Michigan, and states across the union. Thank you for your attention to this matter. So President Trump says he's going to tariff furniture within the next 50 days. The investigation into furniture will be completed, and furniture coming from other countries will be tariffed at a rate yet to be determined. That was posted by President Trump about 15 minutes ago. Thomas Darwin says Amazon gets furniture from all over the world. How about Wayfair? How about their furniture? I have no idea. Oh, I just saw something here. Hold on. This X account called the Kobisi letter pointed out that in after hours Restoration Hardware stock, which is like they're an American, aren't they an American company, Restoration Hardware, that they sell furniture. Their stock is down 7% after hours. It just went down really quickly. I'm guessing because of that announcement. Restoration Hardware. They sell home furnishings. Does IKEA have a stock? IKEA is not publicly traded. How about Wayfair? Wayfair, similarly, Wayfair stock is down. Wayfair stock suddenly dropped in after hours trading around the time of this announcement. And it is down about 8%, 7.7% in after hours trading after this announcement by Trump. I might post that. Pottery Barn says happy pause. Walmart, Target, Costco. Is Pottery Barn publicly traded? Pottery Barn is down 5.37%. Oh, it's Williams Sonoma Incorporated. Do they own Pottery Barn? Yes, they do. Deadly Chicken points out that he announced it on Friday after the market closed. That is true, he did. I know it's a little off topic. I just saw it though, so I wanted to mention it. All right. I'll read a few more comments about this, about the interview. But you can go yourself and check out all of it at the link I posted in the chat. And in case you're wondering, I mean, you probably know this already, a lot of you, but She said that she never saw President Trump in any kind of massage setting. I never witnessed the president in any inappropriate setting in any way. The president was never inappropriate with anybody. In all the times I was with him, he was a gentleman in all respects. Now, as I mentioned, I think the major complaint of a lot of people about the whole Epstein thing with the administration is not that they think Trump was involved. It's that they want the documents released because they think other people might have been involved. So I think for many people, what they are most interested in is not what she says about Trump, but what she had said about other people. If anything, as far as I'm aware, she did not incriminate any prominent person in these interviews, from what I've heard so far. Memnon thinks IKEA would not be affected by those tariffs. It's basically planks imported. I don't know about that. I guess it's how it depends on how you define furniture and imported. That I don't know. But thank you to Memnon. Dangerous Faith thinks this weird thing just implicates even more. A lot of our viewers don't seem to be satisfied with the release of this interview. Aurora thinks she got paid off. All right, I'm going to ask a poll question. Will she get a pardon? Eventually. Now, when I say pardon, I mean any kind of form of, like, there's pardon, and then there's the reducing the sentence. You know what I'm saying? So some sort of thing like that. You can reduce somebody's sentence and not pardon them. Like, you should commute the sentence or something. Anyways, so I'm counting all of that as one thing. Hold on, I'm just putting it in the chat and you guys can say. I don't have any kind of reporting that says she's getting a pardon, but there's been speculation floating around. All right, I'm posting the poll and then I'll let you see what people said about it. Michelle Quintana thinks no one will be satisfied until the person's names they want to see are stated. Okay, let's see what people said. Okay, so I asked you guys, I said, will Trump pardon her? Over on YouTube, this is interesting. Wow, 63% of you on YouTube say yes? Look at that. Almost 2/3 of you on YouTube are saying yes. I think the poll's not working in Facebook again. I'm sorry, Facebook. It says to me it's working, but I think we might be having problems with the Facebook poll. It says reopen poll? Oh, I see what's happening. Facebook is doing this weird thing where it won't let me show the results in the video. The Facebook polls seem messed up. I'm sorry, Facebook, but it seems to be messed up. So maybe you can see it. I can't see your results. Hey, so hopefully they can fix that. And then also, here is what Twitch is saying. Over on Twitch, 68% on Twitch think that Trump will pardon Ghislaine Maxwell. What stock? Home Store? What is Home Store a stock? Or is it like Home Depot? No, Home Depot stock isn't really down. Oops, look what I did. I messed up everything on the screen. There you go. Will Trump pardon Ghislaine Maxwell? Anyways, so the majority of you over there on YouTube and Twitch thinks he will. Home store is a furniture store? I'd never heard of it. Thanks for voting in our poll. Oopsie. I'd never heard of home store. I don't know what that is. One of our viewers thinks she will get not a pardon but a commutation. A commutation does not arrest, does not get rid of the conviction. It addresses the punishment. A commutation will get rid of or lower the punishment, but it does not forgive the offense, does not get rid of the conviction. Joni Jacobs Friels thinks she will get probably a conditional pardon, not a full pardon. Holstrand thinks a commutation. KF thinks to implicate somebody would mean admitting her own disgusting behavior. She's trying to get out. She's admitting nothing. That's what our viewer KF says. Don G. Dangler says she is the daughter of a public relations mogul. I'm sure she knows exactly what to say to protect herself and everyone involved. She trained for years for it. I'm going to post a link. There's a fire at a plant. There has been a fire in a plant. Explosion at a plant in Roseland, Louisiana. I just posted a link to that. It's a Smitty's supply plant. No injuries or deaths reported, but emergency evacuations near the site. It's a lubricants manufacturing plant. Smitty's Supply. B. Jami says, why would she implicate the only man that can free her? Bloodhound Knack said, full files, please. I do like to remind, as a reminder, to just look at the DOJ and FBI memo that kind of started this whole controversy about the Epstein files, the new version of the controversy, from I think it was June. This is it, and it's just very interesting. Again, this came out. What was it? Was it July or June? When was this memo? It was in July. And, I mean, it just came out. It was the FBI and the Department of Justice. And they said, we have conducted an exhaustive review of the investigative holdings related to Jeffrey Epstein. To ensure the review was thorough, the FBI conducted digital services of its databases, hard drives and network drives, as well as physical searches of the squad areas, locked cabinets, desks, closets, and other areas where responsive material may have been stored. These searches uncovered a significant amount of material, including more than 300 gigabytes of data and physical evidence. The files relating to Epstein include a large volume of files of images of Epstein, images and videos of victims who are either minors or appear to be minors, and over 10,000 downloaded videos and images of illegal child sex abuse material and other pornography. Teams of agents, analysts, attorneys, and privacy and civil liberties experts combed through the digital and documentary evidence with the aim of providing as much information as possible to the public while simultaneously protecting victims. Much of the material is subject to court-ordered sealing, they say. Only a fraction of this material would have been aired publicly if Epstein had gone to trial, as the seal served only to protect victims and did not expose any additional third parties to allegations of illegal wrongdoing. Through this review, we found no basis to revisit the disclosure of those materials and will not permit the release of child pornography. This systematic review revealed no incriminating client list. There was also no credible evidence found that Epstein blackmailed prominent individuals as part of his actions. We did not uncover evidence that could predicate an investigation against uncharged third parties. Again, they said we did not uncover evidence that could predicate an investigation against uncharged third parties. Consistent with prior disclosures, this review confirmed that Epstein harmed over 1,000 victims, they said. 1,000 victims, over 1,000 victims. Each suffered unique trauma. Sensitive information relating to these victims is intertwined throughout the materials. This includes specific details such as victim names and likenesses, physical descriptions, places of birth, associates, and employment history. One of our highest priorities is combating child exploitation and bringing justice to the victims. Perpetuating unfounded theories about Epstein serves neither of those ends. To that end, while we have labored to provide the public with maximum information regarding Epstein and ensured examination of any evidence in the government's possession, it is the determination of the Department of Justice and the FBI that no further disclosure, none, would be appropriate or warranted. Also, they say, after a thorough investigation, this is from July, after a thorough investigation, FBI investigators concluded that Jeffrey Epstein committed suicide in his cell in August 2019. The conclusion is consistent with previous findings, including an autopsy, blah, 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 and blah, 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 blah. The conclusion that Epstein died by suicide is further supported by video footage from the common area of the housing unit. Remember, they released footage, a video, and it had there was a part of it that was missing, it turned out. There were other questions raised about the footage. And they say this. So anyways, though, I mean, this really kicked the whole controversy off, the current controversy, because it's saying, like, we're not going to release any of this stuff. There's no client list that we found. There's no evidence that could predicate an investigation against uncharged third parties, basically suggesting that there's no evidence in all of that anybody not charged broke the law. And they say he didn't commit suicide, and they say perpetuating unfounded theories about Epstein does not serve these ends. So, that upset a lot of people. Kind of a defiant tone, I feel like, in that memo. So it's actually interesting to see the actual memo and read it. I'll post a link to the memo if you haven't ever read it. J.K. Senar said, nothing to see here, so move along. Doug in an elevator thought it says, what a cover-up. And then, oh, sorry. Then after that came out, then it was announced that they were going to interview Ghislaine Maxwell, and that interview has been released today. Oh, and also she said there's no list. Hold on, I'll show you that part of this too. I just saw CoffeeZilla mention that quote where she said there's no list. Right here. She said there's no list. There's nothing else about no list. Hold on, where is it here? Where is, I think it's the other interview. Here, Ghislaine Maxwell. She said, page 330, there's no list. There's no list of people getting massages. I can barely recall all the people. I struggle to recall actual people I've met, anyways. Also, she says here, so I don't have, and there's no list. There was never a list. There was no, or certainly none that I ever saw, none that I ever heard of, none that I ever witnessed, there's no list, has never been a list. And you never heard Mr. Epstein talk about such a list. Never. And you never heard Mr. Epstein suggest that he had some sort of control over somebody because of what he knew about what they had done or had photos of them or anything. I never heard him. No, I never heard him ask questions about that, she says. I never heard him. I never heard him ask any question of any masseuse who may have given a massage to a friend that was on the island or in Palm Beach or anywhere else for that matter, any details about that massage. Oh, thanks to Vladinator. Vladinator says Trump is definitely not everywhere in the Epstein files. What annoys me is half-baked justice for people like Epstein that get away with stuff, but if you're living paycheck to paycheck, you're going, the Vladinator says you're going, if you're living paycheck to paycheck, you're going to jail for a long time. Thank you, the Vladinator. It's very nice of you. Barbara, U.S., says she can sit in jail until she remembers. Noah thinks, our member thinks there's no way the DOJ would release anything incriminating for President Trump. Monica Richardson on X says, our X viewer says she does not think that she will get a pardon. Anyways, I see people going through this. There's hundreds of pages. So I would encourage you to, if you want to, go through and read through things. And there's, as I mentioned, there is a, first of all, you can just do a search. You can look at it on the web and just search the web page and search that way through it. But also at the end, there's this index where you can look up certain terms or names, and it says where they're mentioned. And as I mentioned, this document, the interviews and the audio I have linked to at the top of the chat. And I don't know also, again, I wouldn't be surprised if President Trump said something about this, but he has not actually commented about, maybe he won't, he has not actually commented about this release of information. You know, we saw President Trump speak a couple times today, and he did not say this was coming. This kind of came out of the blue today. Let me just check a couple other things here and see if anyone else has found anything I want to mention. The Washington Post says Ghislaine described a copy of Epstein's so-called black book with several marked names that was introduced as evidence at her trial and previously released by the Justice Department as just papers. Again, she was not aware of any kind of client list, she said. Oh, she was asked about, was she asked about the Mossad, I guess? Hold on. Yes, 186, 189, and 190. Guys, she was asked about the Israeli intelligence agency, the Mossad. Have you ever had any contact with an individual that you understand to be from the Mossad, an Israeli intelligence agency? She said, well, not deliberately. Todd, Blanche, pardon me, not deliberately. Okay, and did you know, we asked this, we talked about this a little bit earlier, but just to put a finer point on it, did you ever know that were you ever told, did you ever think that Mr. Epstein was getting any money from any intelligence agency, including Mossad? She says, well, I don't believe so, but I wouldn't know. I mean, I would be very surprised if he did. I don't think so, no. There has been speculation floating around. Would you call it a conspiracy theory? I don't know. There's this theory that Epstein was connected to Israeli intelligence. I really don't know much about that theory. But anyways, that was asked about in the interview, that whether she knew of this connection. Roger Shoemaker said that's the rumor. Hang on a moment. Ada Geddon says, disgraceful, she's the only one charged. Think about how many victims there are. People seem to care more about the drama. Now, to be clear, she's the only one convicted, but Epstein was charged, remember. He just died in prison. The government says by suicide before his trial. But he was charged. After years of allegations. I mean, he was charged in Florida. There were 2 different times he was charged. Well, there was the initial deal between federal prosecutors and Epstein. And then that deal wasn't it voided? And then it was ruled that it was illegal. And then there were further charges after that. Was it 2020? Is that when it was he was charged? I forget all the specifics of the case. Or was it 2019 when he was charged? Hold on. 2019. Oops, you'll see in a second here. Quick summary. In 2005, police in Palm Beach, this is Wikipedia, began investigating Epstein. Federal officials identified 36 girls, some as young as 14 years old, whom Epstein had allegedly sexually abused. He pleaded guilty and was convicted by a Florida state court of procuring a child for prostitution and soliciting a prostitute. He was convicted of only these 2 crimes as part of a controversial plea deal. Served almost 13 months in custody with extensive work release. He was arrested again in 2019 on federal charges. It's for the sex trafficking of minors in Florida and New York. Thank you, Tim Glenn. I appreciate that. Tim thinks he doesn't buy that Epstein would just use the girls and then not use it and not use them for like to blackmail somebody or for influence. Tim thinks he did that. Maybe for an intelligence agency, Tim says. Thank you, Tim. Thanks also all that I am for subscribing on Twitch and Noodle Soup. All right. Well, I haven't seen, I've been looking around. I certainly haven't read through the whole thing. I've been trying to give you the highlights. I don't know if highlights is the right word, but I've been looking around trying to find what people are talking about, and showing you like prominent passages that I see being mentioned and talked about in the press and talked about online. So maybe there's things that people that haven't been uncovered yet, but I know people have been looking through this. What is this? Squid Ink sent me something mentioning Elon Musk. All I'm seeing here is she says he was asked, do you know Elon Musk? And she said she did. I'm not aware that I don't believe she accused him of anything. I would encourage you to go through this if you want. Go through the documents and search as you want. Yeah, here's this thing here. I'll show you. Page 235. We went through several individuals yesterday. I want to go through a couple more names and ask you if you know them. Do you know Elon Musk? I do. How did you meet him? I met him 2010, 2011 or something. I was at an event for Sergey Brin. There were a bunch of us. That was the first time I met him. Aside from that time, do you know Mr. Musk beyond that time? She said, we met at the Oscars. Do you know whether Epstein knew Mr. Musk? I don't know why I have no idea what this is being asked about. Then they move on to asking about somebody else. If you want to read it, it's 237. They ask about Andrew Cuomo. Do you know him? They ask about a bunch of different people. But again, I'm not aware that she accused anyone of, in this interview, anybody prominent of any kind of wrongdoing. Anyways. All right. I think, look, I can only be, I haven't really read through it. So we just jumped right on when it came out. So I'm not going to be particularly helpful in giving you specifics about what's in there. But as I said, if you want to, it's all public. It's posted in the chat. It's posted on my social media. I'll actually post the link again in the chat right now. And you can read through both days of the interviews, and you can listen to the whole thing. Maybe you go for a walk or a run or whatever, or you go out, or you're just hanging out on the couch or you're on the beach and you want to listen to it. Look, it's all the audio recordings. Maybe it's your summer beach listening. So it's all there for you. I just posted the link in the chat. www.justice.gov/Maxwell-interview. Maxwell-interview. There it is. So, Madman Productions says better than an audiobook. I haven't read through it, but I have yet to see anything that anyone has found which is particularly like new, like shocking allegations or something. I'm not aware of any of that so far. Space Fraggle says, I don't read fiction. Our viewer, Strong One, says, nothing to see here, dear leader number one. But I wanted to come on and talk about it. I thought it was important. We got to read some of your comments about it, which I liked being able to do. Jen Madison says, if all these wealthy people move in the same circle, stands to reason they may have chatted up on occasion. Okay, anyways, I'm going to start wrapping this up. I didn't really get a chance to eat. I just snacked really quick because we were going to eat. I was going to eat after the last stream, but this happened right after I got off the air. So I'm going to really go eat something now. I don't think I'm going to listen to it. But if you want to hear her voice again, do you want to hear the voice again? I'll just play you like 10 seconds of it so you can hear what it sounds like. I was playing it before. Here, look.
Definitely witnessed a progression in Mr. Epstein's behavior and a modification, if you will, where in the past, in the early 90s, I don't remember traveling so much with other people, or there'd be a masseuse or a yoga person, but now he started to travel with always a masseuse, whereas in the past it wasn't always a masseuse or always an instructor. There was now starting to be always an individual or a friend or whatever. There's always.
All right, that's just a sampling. That's what it sounds like. That's the audio. You can go download all of it. Go download, listen to the whole thing. Mike Rivers says, 1,000+ victims, 1 conviction, and no further investigation seems fishy. Who is getting protected? All right. It's interesting to hear the voice and know that was just an interview like a month ago. All right. So anyways, hey, who knows? Maybe there'll be big news later tonight and we jump on the air and cover it. So who knows? If you want to, subscribe, follow Agenda Free TV. We do cover all kinds of live breaking news without an agenda. Agenda Free TV. And Turn on the notifications. We have a notification system that we created ourselves. It works great. It's free. You sign up once, and then you get sent a notification whenever we go live, so you don't miss a stream. The mods will post a link to the notifications in the chat. You can find the notifications link in the description of this broadcast on YouTube and Facebook. But check out, sign up for the notifications. I'd recommend doing that, because I never know when big news is going to happen. I didn't know this was going to happen. I didn't know John Bolton was going to have his home and office raided. We covered that earlier, in case you missed it. We covered that this morning. Yeah, I talked about the explosion at a lubricants manufacturing plant in Louisiana. I spoke about it earlier. We're not covering that right now. I don't have video of it. I have the rights to show you anyway. Okay, but I really appreciate you guys tuning in. And also, thanks for letting me read your comments on there. We had a lot of people chatting during the stream. And I would encourage you to go read it or listen to it, whatever you want. You can look in the, you can do a search. You can look in the index and, check it out if you want and go through it. Let's see. Hey, thanks to our moderators, too. I really appreciate all of our moderators being here. You guys are awesome. We've been on the air a while today. Thanks so much to our moderators. We have moderating right now Beth Mythical, Roberts May Queen, over there on YouTube. Thanks for being there. And all of our other YouTube moderators. And also over on Twitch, 13 Alamo, Bash and Girl, Matthew Kohai, 3 McBritches, and Surly Dev. Thank you. Linda Belk, Larry, and Misha on X. On Facebook, Margaret Riley, thanks for moderating over there. Charlotte Webb. Thanks to our moderators. Thanks to everybody who donated too. That's really nice of you guys. It's so nice of you. Thanks to everybody who made a donation. Did I give everybody? I think I did. Noah, did I thank? Switch the channel. Oh no. I think I missed a couple. Oh no. Switch the channel. I'll give them likes so they know if they're not there. Aussie Metal Mate, who said justice for Virginia Giuffre, and switch the channel. Thank you. Oh, I missed a couple. I'm sorry. Lethal Old Fart, too. Thanks, Lethal Old Fart, for your support, who thinks she has a much better chance of winning her appeal based on immunity than she would ever have of getting a pardon. That's what Lethal Old Fart believes. By the way, is her appeal, really quick, if I remember right, is the basis for her appeal that there was a plea deal which initially said she could not be charged, and then that plea deal was nullified by the government? And is she saying that plea deal should still be respected? Yes, my understanding is that she's saying that the non-prosecution agreement that the government made with Epstein, like a extraordinary agreement where they said they would not, I think it said they wouldn't prosecute anybody else in the case or something like that. I have to go through that, but yeah, the agreement covered all co-conspirators, I think. And then it was ruled that was not a legit agreement. I think not a legal agreement. But she's saying it should be respected. I think something like this. I can't get into this now, but that I think is the general idea. But don't hold me to the exact description of it, because I'm not a legal expert. Oh, I can tell you right now, Reuters reported that her appeal, Reuters says, where is it here? Where is it? Where is it? Her lawyers say that the conviction was invalid, says Reuters, because a non-prosecution and plea agreement that federal prosecutors made with Epstein in Florida in 2007 also shielded his associates and should have barred her criminal prosecution in New York. Some legal experts, says Reuters, see merit in Maxwell's claim, noting it touches on an unsettled matter of U.S. law that has divided some of the nation's regional federal appeals courts. One expert Reuters talked to said the question of whether a plea agreement from one U.S. attorney's office binds another federal prosecution as a whole is a serious issue that has split the circuits. But wasn't part of this that her... Now I'm taking way too long. Wasn't part of this that the original plea agreement was nullified? I thought that was the case. Maybe I have this wrong. Now nobody's watching the stream anymore. It's okay. Yeah, right. The basic idea is that she's arguing that she should be immune from prosecution because of the original non-prosecution agreement that Jeffrey Epstein made with federal prosecutors. And it covered potential co-conspirators. Oh, but the prosecutors said that agreement only applied to the Southern District of Florida. Oh, I think maybe I misunderstood it. Is the so I thought that what happened is there was this original non-prosecution agreement, but there was a ruling against it, and that opened the co-conspirators. Oh, maybe what I'm getting confused of. Maybe when the non-prosecution agreement was nullified, as I put it, that opened Jeffrey Epstein to get prosecuted again. But I don't know. What can I say? I'm a little confused about the whole thing. I'm going to wrap this up. I'm going to wrap it up. But I was trying to just give you a brief summary of what the appeal was because we talked about it. But I can't give you a brief summary. I got to read up on it. Anyways, hey, thank you for watching. I thanked our moderators. I thanked you guys for watching. I thanked everybody who donated. That was really nice of you. If you ever want to donate, you go to agendafree.tv. But thank you for your support, really. Also, I will post updates about this and other stories on my X account, which is @Lookner, @LOOKNER. You can follow me there for breaking news updates @Lookner. And also, another good way to find out when we're going live is follow @AgendaFreeTV on X. I always post there when we go live. I post updates about the channel @AgendaFreeTV if you're on X. Also, hey, we have a chat that's on Discord that's free. You can chat with other viewers. A lot of our viewers like to do that. Check it out. It's the same link as the link for the free notifications. So check out the chat on Discord. Thanks to our Discord mods for all you do. Also, for those of you who watch on YouTube, I would suggest that you turn on the YouTube notifications, but it's a little tricky to do that. So if you're watching on YouTube and you want to turn on the YouTube notifications, you got to subscribe to the channel. Subscribe. Then you click the notifications bell, and you choose all notifications. That's how you turn on the notifications over there on YouTube. And hey, shout out to our Facebook subscribers like Robert Rial II and Sharon Klassen Goslin and Susan Priest Buchner and Dina Schultz. Dina said that the person in the documentary, the Netflix documentary, said they saw Clinton sitting on the veranda with Epstein on the island. I think that's what I remember him saying, something like that. Thanks, Dina. I missed your comment before. She said the groundskeeper said it in a Netflix document. Thank you, Dina, for subscribing. And all of our other subscribers over there on Facebook, thank you. Our Twitch subscribers, thank you so much. CC Chi-Town Bear, Allistic, All That I Am, Noodle Soup, Hot Richard, Wall Street and Shaggy, Sandy Doggo, Jax Haku. Thanks for subscribing. Bunch of stuff happening today. Massachusetts guy, Lag Kills, all of our other subscribers, thank you. Our YouTube members too, Ken Lance, Lefties Right Witch, UV Lightning, JK CNR, Evelyn in Maine, Lonely Reject, Barry. Oh, thanks for the membership, CIA Contact. I really appreciate that. Thank you. Roger Shoemaker, Josie, Holstrand, thanks for being members. Evelyn in Maine, Storm Laughter, JD63, CAC 813, Cruella, Teresa, Josie, Patricia Grace, Jenny Ann, Gary Baines, Mike Villalobos, Derek, Lethal Old Fart, Tubular Mind Wave, Songbird, Sharkbite, Wickedest Witch. Thanks for your support last stream too, Wickedest Witch. I really appreciate it. Mike Rivers. Hey, Shaft for the gift memberships. Thanks so much, Shaft. That's so nice of you. Shaft, shout out to you. Red Girl, thanks for being a member. All of our YouTube members, thank you. Confidence in God, Joe Hart, Hampter Krupke, UV Lightning. All right, it's time to wrap this up. I got to eat. I haven't really eaten. I just ate very, very fast. NY Committee, thank you. I got to eat a full meal. Eileen Catanese. If you missed it, check out our stream earlier about the FBI raiding the home and office of John Bolton. Jess Purple, thanks for watching. Lonely Reject. All right, wrapping it up. We are wrapping it up. Paula Thompson, thanks for watching as well. Christy Claft, all of our Facebook viewers too. James London. Justin D. Winters, Strong One, My Mind Spray, and everybody else. That is it right now. As I mentioned, you can go look and read. You can read the full day-and-a-half interview or listen to the full day-and-a-half interview on the Department of Justice site, which is linked at the top of the chat. So check that out if you want. That is it for now. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you soon with more live breaking news coverage right here at Agenda Free TV.